A bit of a slow start to today's ride. And the problem is motivation. You all have days where you just don't feel up to going out for a ride. But my feeling is you've got to get out on the bike, because if you don't, before you know it, you didn't ride one day because it was cold, you didn't ride the next day because it was windy, the day after that it was a bit damp, and before you know it, your bike's been gathering dust in the shed for a year and you're listing it on eBay. Not long after that, you're sitting in front of the telly, bored, struggling to go up and down the stairs. You put on 5 stone and you think, I wish I hadn't sold my bike. So what can you do to get over this inertia? So what I've done is set myself a challenge, and I ride no less than 10 miles a day every day that I'm not in work or away from home. And I set myself that little challenge because most of my rides are between 18 and 20 miles. So I know I should be able to do 10 miles without too much trouble. So whatever your own personal challenge, set yourself some task that means you've got to get the bike out the shed and you've got to go and ride it. Even if it's only 1 mile, set yourself a course that you know you can cope with. No monster hills, just a relatively straightforward course. And then lastly, set your cycling computer to a page that's not relevant to your performance. All you're interested in is getting out on the bike. You can worry about how fast or slow you went when you get home. But for now, let's just enjoy being out and riding. Because if your performance looks a bit worse than you're used to, that will certainly demotivate you. See, when I raced bikes in the 70s and 80s in South Africa, leisure cycling wasn't a thing. You either used your bike for transport or you raced. But there was one group in Johannesburg called the Happy Wheelers, and they used to go out on a Sunday and just enjoy the scenery, riding at a sensible pace. So that became a term in Johannesburg for people who do leisure cycling. They were all just classed as happy wheelers. So on a day that you're not feeling motivated, just tell yourself, I'm a happy wheeler today. And what I find very often happens is when I'm not feeling motivated. But I get on the bike and I go, I start getting into it. Start enjoying the ride. And then I think, well, I'm glad I came out today. The other thing I find sometimes happens is I end up looking at Strava and getting personal records in places I never expected. Because I'm relaxed, just letting the bike go. Nice and smooth, nice and relaxed. You've got to love people who turn round, look at you, and then walk in the middle of the road. But whatever happens, and never come back home and think, oh, I wish I hadn't gone out on the bike today. Even on those days where it is difficult, where you really do have to push yourself all day, I still come back feeling a sense of achievement. My legs feel good, having had some exercise. I feel slightly exhilarated from being out on the bike. That's not to say that there are not times on the bike when you're actually on the ride, where you're coming to a steep hill and thinking, oh God, I wish I hadn't come this way. But you'll get up the hill, and when you get home you'll think, wow, that was good, I did that, even though I didn't feel like it when I went this morning. So my way of staying motivated is, as I said, the challenge. Set yourself a task. It doesn't matter if it's 2 miles. Set yourself a task, because that means you've got to get up, you've got to take the bike out the shed and go for a little ride. And then usually you start enjoying the ride and you go further anyway. It's a little bit like the Alcoholics Anonymous. Don't think of the big task ahead. Think of one day. Don't think about the 40-mile ride. Think 2 miles. I can do 2 miles without any effort. And then you get out on the bike and you think, well, this isn't as bad as I thought. Let's go 4 miles, maybe 6. And before you know it, you've got your motivation back. So some rides, I feel like I can't wait to get home. And yet, as soon as I get home, I can't wait to get back out on the bike.